long record losing streak of 15 games, a 1-15 mark, which the Jags had never seen that low before, and earning the first overall pick in the draft. There's a lot of hope for the offseason ahead with the cap space, with the draft positioning, but there's no getting around. This has been a long, terrible season for Jacksonville Jaguar fans to endure, and today a 28-14 loss. Let's have Jeff Logman now get the first word with head coach Doug Marrone, presented by Navy Mutual, ensuring those who serve. Jeff, take it away.
All right, thank you, Mike. Doug, tough game. You end up facing a football team that is in a situation where they need to win to get in, and Jonathan Taylor was able to really control the tempo of the ball game.
Yeah, the first big run was, a crack replace problem. We couldn't come up with it, and then, many credit to him, making people miss. We had people in place, and, just couldn't make the play. I thought, in the second half, defensively, except for obviously that last drive, really stepped up, played well, gave us a couple opportunities to get the game within one score, and then we had 2 sacks, and then in 2 different possessions, and then we had a then a drop. So weren't able to make the plays that we needed on either side, and we could have helped ourselves obviously early in the game in that first half.
Yeah, you talk about how it was down to 1 possession there at the end of the half. The offense woke up, and Mike Glennon had a little bit of a streak there. I think he had like 13 consecutive completions, and finishing up the first drive, or the last drive of the first half, and then the first drive of the second half. And you guys closed the gap, and then you had some opportunities there. Phillip Rivers gave you one, and you guys just couldn't capitalize.
Exactly right. I think, that's pretty much been the deal this whole season. I think that, hey, we're out there fighting, and when we need to make the plays that you need to make to win games, or someone's got to come up big, we just haven't been able to do that enough, or hold the other team, down to where they're not, making those plays, and that's what happened. I was proud of the team. We get down quickly, 17-0. Fight back in it. We got a chance, but then you got to go out there and make plays, and we just didn't do that, and that's a credit to Indy.
Yeah, you've said it all year long that you've had no problems working with this football team. The guys have given you great effort and worked hard during the week. The outcome hasn't been enough, but I'm sure you appreciate their efforts.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've got good coaches, and I appreciate their effort and everything they put in. So, it's just it was a tough year.
All right, Doug, appreciate your time. Safe travels back.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, there you go. Jeff Logman, head coach Doug Marrone of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll have more from Jeff coming up. Fred Taylor will stop by. JP Shadrick will join me as we roll on. The Jags fall to the Indianapolis Colts 28-14 to complete a 1-15 regular season. More straight ahead with Jeff Logman on Jaguars Postgame here on Jaguars Radio.
Jaguars fans, whether it's on the field or in your finances, the key to success is a solid plan. From high-yield banking.
Put it right there.
All right.
Hey, first of all, I want to start by saying, Floyd Little passed away the other day, and he was he traveled with us to London. He was close to our program, and my thoughts and prayers. Obviously, he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and has been around the program. And his wife Deborah and his family. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him, to their family. So I just wanted to make sure I said that before we get started. So, all right.
All right, we'll go ahead with Mark Long and then John Reed.
Hey, Doug, obviously 15 straight. Have you talked to Shad Khan? Do you have any time set up tomorrow where you're going to meet with Shad about your future?
Yeah, I mean, and all that stuff started coming out yesterday. I gave him a call. He said it was news to him, and, he would talk to me on Monday and didn't really give me a time yet.
And one more game, where you guys, showed good effort. I mean, how proud of you of the? I mean, 1 in 15 is not a lot to be proud of, but how proud of you of cleaning up the locker room and getting this team where it looks like it's potentially close.
Well, I think, a lot of things. I mean, I appreciate the effort, and the professionalism of all the players. I feel that we have, some really good coaches on the staff that have done a nice job, keeping everything together. And whatever happens is going to happen. I mean, I know the record doesn't reflect it. I know that I'm a good football coach, and, I'm looking to have, an opportunity, and, we'll see where it goes. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Let's go to John Reed.
How you doing, Coach? Just wanted to kind of ask you, are you preparing just whatever happens? And was there a distraction for you to hear all the talk about Urban Meyer that came out yesterday and Friday?
Well, I think, it's the same thing. I'll tell you, I give a lot of credit, and I want to make sure I say this to, and I don't ever go outside. Ian Rappaport wound up texting me the other day before he broke the story with his sources. And I'll tell you what, I have a great amount of respect for that. I really do. In other words, he was able to get that to me so I can prep my family, my children. So, they don't have to, hear it from their friends or anything like that. And I think that, that's something I'll always appreciate. I think that when the record is what it is, I think, you have to be able to expect those things. But like I said before, I asked about it, and it was like new news for us. So, we'll see what happens.
Quick follow-up. Has it been difficult for you? We were in the same situation last year with that ESPN report. How has that been? I mean, do you just deal with it or what? I mean, it's like the second year in a row with a report, and obviously, you have to alert your family, but you've been in the same situation 2 years in a row, and just.
I worry. I tell you, John, the way I look at it is this way. First of all, the first thing that really comes to my mind is obviously my family. The second thing comes to the coaches and players. I don't want it to ever be a distraction to them. As far as myself, I've been very fortunate and been, gifted with, great opportunities, and, I know who I am as a coach, and but I know I'm not going to make excuses. And the one thing that and I'll be honest, the one thing that's always saved me in difficult situations or anything adversity, where I grew up. I didn't grow up in, getting things handed to you and all that stuff. I mean, you had to earn shit, and you had to work your butt off. And, if you were a bad player or you couldn't play a sport, people abused you, made fun of you. You didn't run home and cry, and you didn't cry to the coaches, and you didn't do those things. So, there's a lot of things that happened, in my life growing up that have prepared me, that were a hell of a lot tougher, than the situations that I'm going through now. And I think, that's just me. That's how I personally look at it. I mean, growing up where I grew up, it's tough, and, I was fortunate that I always had good friends. I had great coaches. I had great teachers that, cared for me, but, you got to have a callus, when you're brought up in the Bronx.
No matter what. Thank you, man, for everything.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Let's go over to Mia O'Brien.
Stop, Alex. Go ahead.
Hey, Doug, just curious. Obviously, I know another tough loss, but what was the message to the guys post-game? I know you had said last week, the concept of it's a new year, it's 2021, let's get a win here. What was the message to them today?
Yeah, I think, we talked about it. I normally end the season of, hey, how it's the record obviously is terrible. We understand that, but there's always a relationship, a family type of atmosphere that's created amongst players and coaches. And I usually end the year with one thing. Hey, listen, there's going to be change. There's change everywhere. We understand that when you don't play well. And I told him, I said, look, the one thing I hope that at the end of the day, and I've said this many years to many teams that I've coached is, hey, listen, first thing, hey. Be a great family man, be a great father, be a great husband, have faith, and, go back in your communities and do well and make change, this game has taught us so much, and it's given us an opportunity to do that. So, that's kind of what I spoke to the players about afterwards. And then, tomorrow we start at 7:30. We have our team meeting, and then we go with our exit interview. So that's pretty much our schedule. But man, that's what I've always believed. I think that when we walk away and we can look at games and scores and records, but what has the game done, and how have we improved as individuals from our character standpoint as we go through life? Because me, I'm probably on the backside, because like I always tell my wife, big dogs die early. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably going to be me. But that's a pretty good one, wasn't it? I do say that all the time. She gets pissed. But anyway, these players have most of their life ahead of themselves. So you always want to leave with a good message. And at the end of the season.
You're the man, Doug. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Mia. Let's go to Sam Kavaris.
Hey, don't tell me that. I'm 10 years older than you and I'm your size.
And you're a big dog too. I know.
Right. And let me tell you, you don't have that callous growing up in Baltimore. It's the same thing. I get it. Doug, what happened with stopping the run all year long? Did it have to do with guys opting out, guys getting hurt, having to run so many guys through there?
I think there's a couple of times where, I think, crack replace, we're in man coverage, and, the corners get caught inside and the ball gets outside on us, where we just got to keep that discipline. Obviously missed tackles. I think when you look at where, when you go back and you look at things and you look at the yardage, the first thing you say, hey, listen, is there anyone there? I mean, if there's no one there, then that's obvious schematics, and you haven't put your players in the best position. And then I think you look at it and say, okay, hey, when all these yards are given up, or in any game, you got to look to see how they are. Crack replace, missed tackle, an unblocked player on a sweep, the toss play, which is a good play, a good call, and then there's 3 missed tackles, on some of those runs. So, at the end of the day, those are the things that you can't have, because if you're looking at it defensively, the way my philosophy has always been, everyone's responsible for a gap, so, if someone's in that gap and they're not to be able to make that play and everyone else is doing their job, it's going to be very difficult for people to overcome that unless you're in a 2 gap type defense, which, we're a 1 gap defense.
Do you see guys like Chason and Josh, when he's healthy, obviously, being sustainable guys to stand on that defensive line, no matter where they're playing, and be productive players for several years to come?
Chason, who was the second one? I'm sorry, Sam.
Josh, before he got hurt, obviously.
Oh, Josh Allen? Yeah. The one thing is I've always, there's always a lot of a trust and faith with someone that's always available and coachable. And I think Chason has shown that. And I think that, even today, he made some plays, and so he's consistently starting to make plays at a pretty good level. And I say that because it's not going to be what we expect. I mean, there's always going to be pressure when you're taking in the first round, the plays you should make, but he's continued to work hard and continue to up his production from a standpoint of affecting plays. And I think that's a positive. With Josh, I mean, he got hurt. I mean, I've been going day by day. I think, Devon Hamilton was another one that started to increase his production, as he started playing. So I think with a lot of young guys, you look to see, how they start, and then really how they finish. And then, then the key is really for a lot of players, it's a week or 2 weeks, and then you really got to get back into, getting yourself ready to go, from a body standpoint, and then, work your way technique down the road, get yourself built up. So, there's a pretty good plan of action, that I've always talked about the players. I've been fortunate. I've had a couple of players that, like I said, played 15 years, they were on a pretty good program, to make sure that they can, establish that and be consistent. So, it's early. I think it's early. I think you gotta, you always got to be careful of jumping too far ahead, and either, building someone up to be, too big, or sometimes you got to be the other way too. If they don't really produce the way you want, you can't just kill them. So I think it's just a matter of time. And usually, you'll see, back-to-back seasons or, 3 seasons in a row, and that usually sets those players apart.
Thanks, Doug. I'll bump into you somewhere.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Let's take one more from Demetrius Harvey.
Hey, Coach. I understand it's a disappointing end to a pretty disappointing season, but are there any positives that you can take away from this year? I know you haven't had much time to reflect yet.
Yeah, I think there are, and I appreciate you asking that question. But I think I'm going to, go back to the same thing. I think that, I just think about the people. I mean, really, I'll stick with that. I'm not going to talk about, the performances. I think of, how easily it would have been to, point fingers, how easy it would have been to, just been a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? When you're not winning and you're not making plays and you're not playing well. But for some reason, these guys stuck with each other, stuck together, supported each other. Just kept playing, trying to give us everything we had. Coaches were the same way. I mean, we talk about players all the time, but the assistant coaches, they were great. I mean, there was no corners being cut, nothing like that. We were trying to get ourselves ready. So I think at the end of the day, it shows, some resiliency to a certain point of, a lot of times you get too much credit for it, and I don't want to get too much credit for it. I give the credit to the players and the coaches. I mean, really, they did a hell of a job of keeping everyone together during times where it could have easily have been, it could have easily gotten ugly. I mean, we all know that, and we've seen that before. I'm sure, like with sports.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Yep, I'm good. If anyone has anything else, D-Rock, you didn't ask a question. Were you pissed or what?
He bet on you guys to win today. He told me.
Cole didn't ask a question. He's probably pissed off. I mean, what's going on?
Mark asked kind of what I wanted to ask, so I just let him do because he's, annoying as anyway. But I do have one more if you've got a quick second. Do you look back on how the quarterback situation worked out with Minshew and wish that maybe things had been different? Had he come to you earlier with the injury, things might have been different?
Nah, I mean, again, I mean, it's going back, and then, I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna go in there and talk about that. I mean, I know those guys have given everything they had, all three of them. You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. You really can't. I mean, you can't, point fingers, blame it on, I mean, that's just, what kind of example are you for, your players, your coaches, your family, community, whatever it is. I mean, you got to accept what you have and do the best job you can. And that's what I've always tried to do.
Is it hard
tonight?
Is it hard tonight to go home and sleep just not knowing about your future?
I'm more right now just trying to make sure my family is okay. You know what I'm saying? When that stuff starts coming out, it's brutal. And then once I know my family is okay, I immediately, like I said before, I go to the coaches, because like I said, we've got good coaches, and I worry about them. And my goal, if things don't work out, and I'm not, is to make sure it's not about myself. It's going to be making sure I take care of all my coaches, and they're too good to be out of it.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Looks like Mia and Mark are back, so go ahead.
Go
Mia.
ahead.
Oh, let Mark go first. Let Mark go first.
Ladies first. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask what you're going to have for dinner or a beverage this evening. I was going to keep it simple.
No, I'm I don't know yet. I'm just, trying to just, kind of grasping all the emotion, what I'm saying, that you go through, at the end of it.
I actually, it's
last
crazy.
year, didn't you tell us? Last year, I thought the final line was, I'm going to go home and probably have an adult beverage, and then walked off. That's why I had to ask, since we don't have that in person this year.
This year, it's big dogs die early.
Yeah, I was curious. Do you guys allow? I mean, it's been such a brutal season for on so many levels. Do you allow the guys to drink on the flight home?
No.
Can you guys enjoy that? Like,
no.
last.
That's against NFL rules. I mean, that's something that's been, in place for a long time. I remember, when I first came up in the league in the 80s, you were allowed, we'd have 3 beers and a shrimp cocktail, and you made sure that you knew all the religious guys that didn't drink, so you can grab their 3 beers from their seat. I mean, that's how it was back in the day. And I think, the NFL has done a good job. I mean, you want to make sure that, everyone's doing the right thing. I mean, again, and our guys have, and I'm proud of them for that. All right. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
CSICompanies.com or call 800-582-0828 today. That's 800-582-0828 for the CSI Companies.
At Jacksonville International Airport, the health and safety of travelers is their #1 priority. They're doing everything they can to mitigate the spread of COVID-19, from adhering to CDC cleaning guidelines, requiring facial coverings in the terminal, and encouraging social distancing at every point of the airport experience. For a comprehensive look at what the airport, airlines, and their shops, restaurants, and rental cars are doing to keep passengers safe, please visit jacksairportcares.com to learn more.
Why live with foot or ankle pain?
All right, hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, we're going to start with Gary Smith.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hey, Mike, just the way things shook out with the injuries, you guys couldn't have gone 5 wide if you'd have wanted to today. But the 4 wide receivers, they all made some plays, and you were under an awful lot of duress there from the Colts. So Laviska and Connolly, even Godwin got in there, made his first NFL catch, and Keelan. How did those guys play given the circumstances?
Yeah, I thought they played great. And I think all year long we've known about the depth we've had at receiver. I mean, this is probably the deepest receiver group I've been a part of. Terry showing up, he finally gets to do it on a Sunday, but he's been doing that all year on scout team. So it was great to kind of see him finally get out there and showcase what he can do. And, I'm super proud of those guys to go, as many times as we threw the ball, only having 4 active receivers. I mean, they laid it all on the line. And they all made plays, like you said. I mean, Chris stepped up big with DJ being out. Keelan is always in the mix. Laviska, 2 touchdowns. As you mentioned, Terry. So, it was a good defense, and I thought they stepped up.
Thank you.
Let's go over to Cassidy and then Mia.
Hey, Mike, Visca in particular, I mean, you've seen a lot of NFL receivers in your day. What does the future look like for someone like him?
Yeah, I think he's if you can find a way to get the ball in his hands, good things are going to happen. I mean, he's one of, if not the strongest receiver I've been around, and I can't even really remember seeing. I mean, he's like a running back when he gets the ball in his hands, but he can run receiver routes. So he's so hard to bring down. He's so strong. He's like a man-child out there. So he's, the future is bright for this receiver group, obviously with DJ, with him. I think some of the guys might be free agents, but Colin showed what he could do. So we'll see who's back, but I think Jags fans should feel good about their receiver group.
All right. Thanks, Cassidy. Let's go over to Mia and then John Reed.
Hey, Mike, I know we kind of asked you this last week, but now that the season is officially concluded, what is your biggest takeaway, having had so many head coaches in your career, of the performance that Doug Marrone did this year, both on and off the field?
Yeah, I think, Doug's a great guy. He really does a good job. I mean, what they decide, I don't know. That's just how this business works. But, we all appreciate what he's done for us. And, we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Mia. Let's go over to John Reed.
Hey, Mike. Can you talk a little bit about just how difficult this season was with the COVID and playing in empty stadiums and all the things you guys had to go through this season? And
I'll tell you what, it's going to feel good not to be wearing a mask everywhere I go and having to worry about, getting COVID, spreading it to teammates, everything that goes with it. So this mask, I will still wear in public. I can't wait to not be wearing it for half of my day around the building. And it's been a unique year. Empty stadiums. I was talking to someone today about it. I'm like, when's the last time we played somewhere away game without fans? And I think it went all the way back to Houston. I think we only played 2 games this year away that had fans. So hopefully, next year there'll be fans back. The atmosphere, will feel more normal. But all in all, I think guys adjusted really well. I think the NFL did a great job. I mean, to go through every single game and not get one canceled was pretty impressive. So, but yeah, it's definitely a unique year with a lot of challenges.
So you trust in the vaccines and everything will get back to normal by next season?
We'll see. I don't know. I'm not going to get into. I don't know if that's a political question or what, but I'm not going to go down there.
Thank you, man.
All right, thanks, John. Unless there's any other questions that are going to sneak in, we'll let Mike go. All right, looks like you're free. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jags Media, for the season. Appreciate all your patience with all of our.
Glennon hits Chenault again, this time from 8 yards out, his second score.
Play fake. Glennon look. Fires toward the end zone. Once LaVisca Chenault. Caught for the touchdown. Hasta LaVisca. And the Jags within a score. Touchdown Chenault.
20-14 at that point, and then the Colts are salting the game away. Jonathan Taylor was already up to begin with. He caps it off with a big one. 45 yards and a touchdown for Indy.
Inside handoff. Jonathan Taylor. Oh, he made a man miss into the open field. 25-20, 10-5, touchdown, Jonathan Taylor. He made a man miss right near the line of scrimmage. What a good run that was. It turns into a 45-yard touchdown run for the rookie, Jonathan Taylor.
One great basketball analyst would say there's a little lingerie on the deck on that play for the touchdown. Joe Schobert was faked out on that one, and Taylor goes the distance, and the Colts get the win over the Jaguars 28-14. We're back with plenty more ahead. We get the TIAA Bank Stats Check coming up. We'll get our Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game, the injury report, and much more. It's Jaguars Postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
It's your apartment speaking, and I need some favors. When you're singing in the shower, just try going up a key. You're trying to be an alto when really you're a soprano. Oh, and if you could bundle your renters and car insurance with Geico, it's easy to do online and we could save money. And then, when you read your murder mysteries at night, could you read out loud? But skip the murder parts because I get scared.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.
Proven IT implements a strategic game plan designed to streamline your business for maximum results. Make the winning choice with the official business systems partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Proven IT. Proven IT's technology experts use a customized approach to understand how to design, implement, and monitor solutions that optimize your business. Proven IT provides managed network services, document management solutions, office technology, voice and data solutions, and more. Visit ProvenIT.com to see how they can streamline your business. Proven IT, transforming workplace productivity.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
This portion of Jaguars Postgame is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, and by TIAA Bank. Jaguars Postgame continues right now.
Welcome back. Jaguars postgame. Colts 28, Jaguars 14 in Week 17 of the 2020 campaign. The Jaguars finish 1-15. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Jaguars Radio Network. J.P. Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor after a Jaguars loss 15 in a row to wrap up the regular year. And now it's on to 2021. Let's take a look at the TIAA Bank stats check and start off with the team statistics today. And the Colts dominated in terms of yardage, 437 to 283. 273 rushing yards for the Indianapolis Colts, the fourth most allowed in Jaguars franchise history. The Jags only ran for 53 yards in the game, passing net 230 to 164 in favor of the Jaguars. The Jags were 5 of 15 on third down, Colts 3 of 10. Indy had 23 first downs to the Jaguars 18. Penalties 3 for 54 yards for the Jags, 1 for 15 yards on the Colts. 1 turnover for each side. Time of possession in favor of Indy. They held the ball for 33 minutes and 38 seconds. The rushing game really was the key today, obviously.
Yep, looking at the individual stats, as we highlighted earlier, Jonathan Taylor crushed it today, averaging 8.4 yards per carry. 30 carries, 253 yards. That's kind of what the Colts envisioned when they traded up near the top of the second round to acquire him. In the draft, scored a pair of touchdowns as well. On the ground for the Jags, Daria Gunbowale, 50 yards on 14 carries, averaged 3.6 yards a pop. He's the only one with more than a single carry. The quarterbacks today, Phillip Rivers, 17 to 27, 164, a touchdown and an interception. Mike Glennon, 26 of 42, 261, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, although he was sacked 6 times on the day. Jags did not record a sack of their own. Receiving-wise, Naheem Hines caught a lot out of the backfield for Indy, the only guy with more than 3 catches. He had 6 for 50 and 3 for 27 for T.Y. Hilton with a touchdown. On the Jaguars side of things, Chris Connolly caught 7 of his 9 targets for 87 yards. Laviska Shenault caught 6 for 68 with a pair of touchdowns. And defensively, Joe Schobert led the way. 5 solo tackles, part of a 9-tackle effort for the Jaguars middle linebacker.
Obviously, the rushing game for Indy, we saw it last year in Week 11, where they had 2 different running backs go over 100 yards against the Jaguars. And today, they only needed 1 guy to go over 250 yards. Fred Taylor had a great rookie season, overtook our guy James Robinson for the rookie lead in rushing, and not a lot else you can say. What a day it was at the office for Taylor today.
Yeah, he got it done. Just looking at him, man, I really hadn't paid a lot of attention to him this year. I've always been a fan of Marlon Mack. Unfortunately, Marlon can't stay on the field. I think with Naeem Hines and now Jonathan Taylor, excuse me.
Yeah.
He's taking over the role as lead back, and he has some juice. He definitely has some juice, some nice quicks. He runs strong. He has some good speed to him. Probably the most elusive back that the Colts have seen since Marshall Faulk, in my opinion. So hats off to the young man.
Big day. Jaguars defense struggled to slow him down early and late in the game. There was a middle point where the Jaguars offense bounced back a little bit, and they were within a score at one point, but they just could not bring it home. Let's come back, unless you have something else, Mike.
You're good.
Okay, we're going to come back, and we will pick our Jaguars Radio Network player of the game. I think this is a slam dunk today.
Oh, without a doubt.
I think you're right.
I think we'll find out when we come back. It's Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation outpatient locations throughout Florida are currently open and accepting in-person and telehealth appointments. They're following CDC guidelines to include screenings, temperature checks, face masks, social distancing, and additional sanitizing of all surfaces. They're taking extra precautions to ensure your safety so you can focus on your recovery. Please call their central intake unit at 904-345-7277, option 3 to schedule your visit. Brooks Rehabilitation is the official rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready to talk some trash? Well, nobody talks trash quite like Waste Pro, the official waste service and recycling partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Specializing in residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection, processing, and disposal, Waste Pro is equipped to handle all your recycling and garbage removal needs. For service, call 904-731-7288. Waste Pro, caring for communities and caring for Jacksonville.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Jaguars Game Day presented by ViStar Credit Union. If you believe free checking is better, join ViStar. That's checking with no fees and no minimums. No kidding. At ViStar, they never forget that it's your money. And welcome back. Jaguars Postgame presented by TIAA Bank, and the Jaguars fall in Week 17, 28-14 to the Indianapolis Colts. Time now for our Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game voting. And if you've just joined us, well, the season's over. It's Week 17, so what have you've missed a lot this year. I get a vote, Mike gets a vote, Fred gets a vote and a half because he's Fred.
Let's do the season again.
You start over?
Nah.
Let's do it. Let's just meet next week and just have a show on our own. Fred, you want to call in next week? No?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm out.
You guys
I'm busy.
You guys let me know how that works
I'm busy
out.
next week. Fred, you might do a solo show. I don't know. Let's get to our player of the game.
It's going to be a weekday thing, so we can just chop it up, man, you know.
Oh, okay.
Fred, you're welcome to join us from 10 to noon any day you like, at any time.
Yeah.
10 minutes, 2 hours, the whole thing, whatever you like.
We got happy hour Monday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. It's a lot.
Happy hour every day.
Oh, well, that's a different story. Hey, let's get to our player of the game voting. Mike, would you like to start us?
Yes, I get a vote. You get a vote. Fred Taylor gets a vote and a half,
right.
and they're all going to LaVisca Chenault.
Yes, they are.
I have an idea.
Bingo. Nicely done.
We actually had votes come in on Twitter today. There was some
For
somebody
LaVisca.
on,
No, right. Mary C. Squared,
Right.
who's Mary is an excellent fan of the Jaguars, very hardcore, dedicated fan. She said, "I know I don't get a say, but I'd like to nominate LaVisca." And I love Mary, Fred, but I was almost snarky, like as if to say, "Oh, really? Like, who else were we going to vote for today?" Thank goodness, man. They gave me something to do for drive of the half in the first half, JP.
No, it was
at halftime, I was going to be treading water there.
We've done that before, though.
6 for 68 on 9 targets for LaVisca, and he had the 2 touchdowns. Fred, we saw him go deep last week, and I know he's not maybe the classical deep threat wide receiver, but he is fast. And I just think the big thing with him is just health. If he can avoid the nagging injuries next year and, hopefully a quarterback and some other pieces help elevate this offense and all, the rising tide lifts all boats, I think LaVisca can be a part of a very good NFL offense.
I think he can, Mike, but again, I think what he's best at is his run after the catch attributes. He's big, strong. As you mentioned, he has some good speed to him. And those nagging injuries, they're going to come because of his, he has tremendous burst after he catches the ball. And that's unlike many receivers out there. So if he can just make sure he puts the first things first and realizes that his body is an investment, then he'll be okay. But I would definitely like to see him in that receiver group, also as that, specialty motion guy, the handoff guy, the wildcat guy. I think he has the ability to do all those things.
So there you have it. It's a vote without even having to vote. It's a unanimous vote, and it's LaVisca Chenault Jr., wide receiver, 9 targets, 6 catches, 68 yards, 2 touchdown catches in both Jaguars touchdowns of the game. They dropped the game 28-14. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. We're back with the Baptist Health Injury Report dead ahead. The Jaguars fall in Week 17, 28-14 the final score, and it's Jaguars postgame presented by TIAA Bank on Jaguars Radio.
Hey Jaguars fans, Jack Hanania Jr. here from Jack Hanania Chevrolet Buick GMC. Right now, you can shop over 1,200 used vehicles, including over 100 certified pre-owned vehicles, and vehicles starting as low as $2,000. That's right. And I guarantee you, no haggle pricing, just our best price. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, come see us in St. Augustine. Why buy from us? That's why.
Example 2007 Mazda CX-7 Sport. Stock number 701244232 plus tax, title, and fees. Vehicle subject prior to sale. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for details.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, the CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing staffing firms in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI knows how important it is to find the right people for your team. See why some of Jacksonville's top companies choose CSI for their staffing needs. Visit thecsicompanies.com or call 800-582-0828 today. That's 800-582-0828 for the CSI Companies.
Oi, bonjour. Xin chào.
Добрый день. كيف فينا نساعدكم?
¿Cómo te podemos ayudar?
If you have an accident, the last thing you should have to worry about is a language barrier. That's why at Farah & Farah, we have a team as diverse as our clients. So no matter what language you speak, we'll fight for your voice. Farah & Farah, here for you.
نحن هون للكل.
Ici pour vous. Aquí para todos.
Here for all. Jacksonville.
Brooks Rehabilitation outpatient locations throughout Florida are currently open and accepting in-person and telehealth appointments. They're following CDC guidelines to include screenings, temperature checks, face masks, social distancing, and additional sanitizing of all surfaces. They're taking extra precautions to ensure your safety so you can focus on your recovery. Please call their central intake unit at 904-345-7277, option 3 to schedule your visit. Brooks Rehabilitation is the official rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here for the best barbecue in town. That is Bono's. Head to Bono's today. 15 locations on the First Coast and 6 more at TIAA Bank Field. You see, Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Plenty of parking, clean family restaurants, and oh, by the way, the best barbecue you have ever had. So if you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today, the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. Jaguars Postgame presented by TIAA Bank. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor. Jaguars fall 28-14 in Week 17 to the Indianapolis Colts. Time now for the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing health care for good. Cam Robinson left the game for a bit, came back in, though, at the end and had a personal foul towards the end of the game. And then Greg Maben was out for a little bit, nearly got run over by Dario Gunbowale on the sideline when he was stretching his hamstring out to make it even worse. He avoided that, thank goodness. Those are the two real notable ones today that I had.
Which is big. You don't want, guys getting hurt and needing to rehab. I mean, we saw, obviously the Bucs have bigger things to play for, but it's just a shame. Mike Evans runs a simple slant into the end zone today, and, his left foot slips, and he looked like he couldn't put any weight on that left leg. It was a knee. It appeared and ended up getting carted off. And you hate to see that for anybody, but you certainly don't want that. Man, if you've made it through a 1-15 season, one piece to this point, imagine needing a significant rehab to begin your off season. That's not what anybody's looking for.
There's enough guys on that list already, Fred, for this Jags team, of course, and Josh Allen, and just to name one. There are many others on this team that are on that list that will have some work to do early in this offseason to get back on track.
Yeah, when it's checkout exam, exit physical day, I see a lot of sad faces. I used to see a lot of sad faces in that training room, guys that can't leave within, the first couple of days of postseason. And for a lot of guys, it's a must. It's a must. They have to make sure they're on top of what they need to get done. And they realize it's a business first. and make sure they get an early start to their off season. I think for me, JP, the older I got, the more mature, and I start figuring things out, I wanted to hurry and get to, back to working out and training and aligning my body properly with massages, chiro, so I can get ready for next year. So hopefully these guys will understand the urgency in it, figure out some good draft picks there, man, and see what we can throw around in the pot next year for next season. So I can't wait. And that's the thing. The off season goes by quick. When for me, it's the unknown, and I get excited every year for the team, regardless of fact. I get excited, and I'm always rooting for him, man. And I'm looking forward to see what happens in his draft and next season.
Well, let's come back and preview all that in our final segment of the 2020 regular season. Jaguars drop another one. They finish 1-15, and we'll wrap it up for the season after this. It's Jaguars Postgame, presented by TIAA Bank on the Jaguars Radio Network.
The wait for the holidays is over, America. It's time to make some joy. And we're here to help with the Ford Built for the Holidays sales event. We're offering the best deals of the season across the Ford lineup, so you can road trip with the whole family comfortably in a Ford Expedition. Bring home a tree that's bigger than you ever have with a built Ford Tough F-150. And find new ways to make the holidays bright this year when you visit your local Ford dealer. The joy is up to you, America, so let's get to it. Ford, built for the holidays.
NFL fans, go to NFLshop.com and get your favorite player's jersey, name, and number t-shirt or collectible. Are you ready for the next game? Shop now for the most up-to-date assortment for all 32 teams, including face coverings. NFL Shop has game day covered with jerseys, apparel, and at-home essentials for cheering on your team. You'll choose from the largest assortment for all 32 teams, as NFL Shop is the destination for officially licensed NFL gear. Head to NFLshop.com today for your special offer.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the large format printing services running in high gear, creating large banners for marketing events, full vehicle wraps. Learn how Kessler changes the game with print and direct mail innovation. From eye-catching restaurant menus to real estate yard signs and event displays, Kessler does it all. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, it's the Good Greek Spiro, and I am proud to announce that Good Greek Moving and Storage is now the official mover of your Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are making all of the right moves, and you should too. So when it's time for you to move, do it like the Jags and call the Good Greek. Simply dial ** Greek from your cell or go to goodgreek.com. That's goodgreek.com. Good Greek Moving and Storage, official movers of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
Welcome back. Final segment of the season on Jaguars Postgame, presented by TIAA Bank. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor. Jaguars fall in Week 17. They finished 1-15, and Fred, you touched on a few of the items ahead. Well, I guess the first order of business is what's going to happen with Doug Marrone. That will be the next few days, at least, to see what happens. We heard some of the quotes earlier out of the postgame press conference. But we'll see what Monday brings. And then the general manager role has to be filled at some point. And then certain quarterbacks have to declare for the draft. And then the draft happens in April. So there's a lot to go on here, of course, before we get to draft day. Everybody's fired up, and rightly so. But there's still a lot of business, Fred, to get to between now and then.
And that's part of the process. And only one person, has the keys to that car in his shot, Mr. Khan, regardless of what's circulating in the media. It's not final until it's final, no matter what happens. And I do think that once he makes those decisions, GM, coach, getting that crew together, and then determining what they're going to do in the draft and with those picks that they have, what they're going to do in free agency. Just my thought from afar, I think that the biggest position to address, obviously, is quarterback. Do you get someone to protect his blind side? from a free agent standpoint. I heard there on the broadcast that Cam Robinson was a free agent. Do you give him a few more years to blossom, or do you say, well, we haven't seen anything in 4 years, and you are who you are at this particular point? Defensive interior, I think that's a position that needs to be addressed. So there are a slew of positions, but we have some equity, in the draft, and then we have also some equity there with the salary cap. So it'll be interesting, man. It's going to be fun. Hopefully the end result after those decisions are made equates to victories. That's all the fan base wants.
They do. They want victories, but they're going to get excitement along with it, whether they want it or not, with all the different moves.
Yeah, that'll happen. That will happen.
And but Fred, for the first time, real franchise-changing potential excitement with the top pick in the draft, which is presumed that it will be Trevor Lawrence. Like, we all watch the college semifinals. Justin Fields looked amazing on Friday night, but is that enough for you to have him close the gap with Trevor Lawrence? Do you think it's a done deal? Is Lawrence's body of work, in your opinion, does that make him the clear front runner in your eyes?
I'm not looking at one game, Mike. I'm sorry. I'm not looking at one game. Fields had an amazing game. He threw some amazing balls, accuracy. Everything was there. I want to pull out every game. This is huge. You mentioned the excitement in the fan base. I think from just a simple marketing campaign, this is something that this franchise hadn't been involved with since the expansion days. So having the first pick in the draft, it's big, it's amazing. Hopefully it'll shed some light on the market there. Hopefully it'll increase some, provide some more awareness to what they have going on across the pond. But I would look at every single game. I would really dig into evaluating these quarterbacks, their mechanics, every game they play out, interview everybody that's ever spoke to these kids to make sure you're going to get the right person, because it's big, and we're not doing it just for a year or 3. We're hoping to land a guy that's going to be there for 15 years, like the great quarterbacks. They stick around in their organizations for double-digit years or better if they're that type of franchise player.
So a lot ahead in the days, weeks, and months to come, but this 2020 season is now in the books. And Fred, another stellar job on postgame and on our pregame visits each week, as always, and I'm sure we will speak with you soon as the process of the off-season gets started, man.
Oh, without a doubt. I look forward to these times with you guys, man. Unfortunately, COVID shifted some things for us, but we'll be back. We'll figure it out. We'll adapt, and we'll make it magical.
I love it.
All right, Fred. Happy
New
Year,
guys.
man.
Have a good one.
You too.
Fred Taylor out of here. Proud of the Jaguars running back. You know him. You love him. And that'll do it for Jaguars postgame on our network audience. Thank you for listening throughout the year on Countdown to Kickoff, our game broadcast, and Jaguars postgame presented by TIAA Bank. Thanks to our entire crew all season long. For Joe Fortunato, our entire radio side, Tony Smith. For Jeff Lageman, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor, I'm JP Shadrick. For those on our flagship station, stick around. The Scoreboard Show is next. Bucky Brooks joins us to take your calls. Senior VP of Communications, Dan Edwards. VP of Production is Patrick Cavanaugh. Executive Producer, Dave DeCandis. Tony Smith and Linda Fortunato are our producers. Brent Reber, Trent Padilla, Max Hockman produce our shows for Jaguars.com. Final score in Week 17, Colts 28, Jaguars 14. We'll catch you next time on the Jaguars Radio Network.
This is the Jaguars Scoreboard Show. This is your chance, Jaguars fans, to sound off about today's game. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, and by TIAA Bank. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show starts right now.
Welcome back. Scoreboard Show. Final score, 28-14. Colts over the Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Bucky Brooks joining us, NFL Network analyst in Los Angeles. Bucky, it is all over. It's on to 2021, finally.
Yes, it's all over. Long set of losses. Even though today they did play pretty well. The game was pretty competitive, and it was enjoyable to watch. Just weren't able to finish it. But, yeah, I think now we can turn our attention to what's next for the Jaguars, not only when it comes to the general manager and possibly head coach, but also what are they going to do in the offseason, free agency, the draft, how quickly can they assemble a team that can get back to being competitive and compete with some of the teams in the AFC South.
All right, let's cut to the chase here, Bucky, because let's be honest, for 2 weeks, it's been Trevor Lawrence mania, right? And I continue to have that. And he got outplayed on Friday night by Justin Fields. Justin Fields was magnificent in the college football semifinals. But, I listened to you on the Move the Sticks pod with Daniel Jeremiah. You guys were talking about how close it was for the second quarterback off the board between Wilson and Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. Did Fields definitively move ahead of Wilson, and did he close the gap significantly in your mind with Trevor Lawrence, or is this still a body of work leading you towards the Clemson quarterback?
I think the Clemson quarterback is number one. And I think the Clemson quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, is number one for a few different reasons. One, when you talk about the body of work, he has been a 3-year starter. You've seen him play for 3 years on the big stage. Two, I think when it comes to everything that is involved with being a franchise quarterback, the number one overall pick, I think he checks off all the boxes in terms of his leadership ability, his maturity, the professionalism that he's already displayed. I think he gets it. That said, Justin Fields could do those same things, but I think over the entirety of their careers, I would say that Trevor Lawrence has played longer and has displayed more consistency than maybe Justin Fields. But I think the bigger thing in terms of Justin Fields, and I don't think this is necessarily a Jaguars conversation, Justin Fields and Zach Wilson is the interesting one, because when you talk to people in league circles, there has been kind of a fascination with Zach Wilson because of the way that he played, the things that he does at BYU and how he throws it around the yard. But Justin Fields is a talent, and he's a premier talent. And when you've seen him play in big games on major stages outside of the Indiana and Northwestern game, you've seen him play in more of those bigger games. And so the conversation is going to be, Zach Wilson is a more natural thrower and passer in those things, but we haven't seen him play in those big games. So what do we really know what we're getting? Whereas we've seen the Ohio State kid play in big games over and over and over and over and over again.
But you still see the Indiana Northwestern game, though. That's the problem sometimes that a lot of people will have.
That is the problem, JP. That is the problem. Now, I think what will happen is now after the bowl season, we probably have a greater appreciation for Northwestern, the way they dispatched Auburn, and Indiana, the way they played toe-to-toe with Ole Miss. But that tape is out there, and that tape will kind of linger because you wonder, man, why did he have such a tough time delivering in that game? Now, they were counting and say, look, we had a bunch of wide receivers missing due to COVID issues and those things. But I do think his processing was slower in those games. He said before this Clemson game, this is the most prepared that he's ever been. Now, the challenge to him would be, you have to prepare like this all the time as a pro. And so can you pour that kind of work into your preparation each and every week, because that's what's expected? Because the way that he played against Clemson, that's the kid that I saw in high school with Trevor Lawrence in Elite 11. Those two guys have always been neck and neck. And so that guy that played Friday night was the one that I was like, oh, yeah, that's the one. That's the one that I remember seeing. And so it's one of those things. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I don't think it changes anything with Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence's brand name, what he's done, I think those things will put him ahead of it. I do think the one thing that guys will talk about and talk to him about in those big games, if you go back and look at the last 2 years in the playoffs, he didn't necessarily play great against Clemson and LSU, and then even in this game. So you just kind of want to have that conversation and see what was going on. But look, he's the number one overall pick. I think it's a no-brainer.
I'm not trying to make excuses for him. It's the chips are going to fall where they do. But how big is it not having your offensive coordinator in that scenario?
Huge. huge this year. I'm talking about more so like last year, Ohio State and Clemson.
Yeah.
He was right at 50% completion percentage
right.
in LSU. But like Tony Ellett is a dude, and I think people have a better appreciation for what he brought to the table as a play caller. I think having a new offensive coordinator, new rhythm, it takes a while. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think they ran into a buzzsaw. I think Dabo poked the bear. So I think you got Ohio State at their best. And the fact that they had lost to Clemson a couple times in the playoff, that it was one of those things that Trevor was going to have to be Superman to be able to do it. And I don't think he got a lot of help from his running back, Travis Etienne, and some of the other guys.
Way to go, Dabo. Vote him 11. Way to go.
Stupid.
Way to go. I mean, you might be right, but, hey.
JP's afraid that Dabo's going to now say that Ohio State's like 15th best in the country before they play Alabama.
Leave him out of this
That's all
week's
JP
voting.
cares about right
Don't
now.
need him. Don't need him.
Nick Saban heard to say Ohio State does not belong in the championship game.
Great.
Oh, my God.
Just what they need. 355 NFL 1, the number 355-6351. Your calls. We'll recap this game. Well, we might just move on from this game. There's plenty ahead for the Jaguars. Yes, Bucky, we're moving along. We're back with your calls in a moment. It's the Scoreboard Show, presented by TIAA Bank on Jaguars Radio.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
The best way to feel love is to share it at Hanania Subaru of Orange Park. We always go the extra mile with bigger selection, more savings, our best service. Only Subaru of Orange Park gives you a nationwide lifetime warranty and 1-year complimentary maintenance on new and used vehicles. Plus, when you get a new Subaru during the Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charities at Hanania Subaru of Orange Park. Online at SubaruofOrangePark.com. See dealer website for full details.
You're working from home. So how do you connect with coworkers and clients? With RingCentral, the #1 global communication solution for business. RingCentral makes talking, texting, collaborating, and video calls easy. And it's all on one platform. And when we say everyone should be connected, we mean it. It's why we're giving RingCentral free to educators, health providers, and nonprofits. Learn more at ringcentral.com. Welcome to the new RingCentral.
Dreamfinders Homes has a simple commitment to their home buyers. Deliver unsurpassed quality, uncompromising value, and an extraordinary level of customization you simply won't find with other home builders. With over 40 communities to choose from, you'll find a location you love and the home of your dreams. Dreamfinders has townhomes, single-family homes, and custom estate homes starting from the high 100s and a wide selection of move-in ready homes. Quality, value, customization. That's the Dreamfinders difference. Call 904-738-0165 or online at dreamfindershomes.com. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Prices subject to change with equal housing opportunity.
Every 51 minutes, someone dies in a drunk driving crash. If you think it can't happen to you or that your actions won't affect others, think again. I got behind the wheel drunk and caused a crash that took the lives of 2 young women. Before you drink, have a plan and know all your options. One bad decision can last forever. Take it from me, Eric, prison inmate P22679.
This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Floridians know what it means to stand together. That's why Florida Blue is committed to the people of Florida by providing health care with lower costs and higher quality. Enroll within 60 days of life-changing events, such as losing your job, to get benefits like plans as low as $0 a month and up to $500 per year towards your premiums and wellness rewards. Call 1-800-750-0164 or visit floridablue.com/care today. Florida Blue is a trade name of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida, Incorporated. These health benefit plans have limitations and exclusions.
The The Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
We're back. The Scoreboard Show, 355 NFL 1, 355-6351. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks, who I'm sure we will lean on throughout this offseason. There will be a lot going on for the Jaguars with the number 1 overall pick at 1-15 in the 2020 campaign. We've got calls, Dempsey. What do we got?
We do. We've got John and Callahan to lead us off here on the Scoreboard Show at 355 NFL 1. John, you're on the Scoreboard Show with Bucky Brooks. Go ahead, please.
Well, hey, Mike, I know you're worried about having to wear long pants on the golf course next week, and that's a crying shame.
It is. If it's chilly, it will be a crying
Nobody
shame.
wants to see those legs anyway.
But
my legs look good.
One thing I want to point out, while we have the number 1 pick, I took pride in the fact that the defense just about beat Phillip Rivers. Okay, so we get a good quarterback, get a good offense, and we've got a decent defense. Can we come back and get 8 games next year? I'd like to know what Bucky thinks about that. And, gentlemen, it's been a wonderful time talking to you this year. I'll talk to you next season.
All right, John.
Have
Thank
a good
you.
year.
Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
the
Happy
calls.
New Year.
Yeah, I appreciate John calling. No, we're not that decent to have 8 wins with that defense that's presently constructed. We have to we got to make sure we get beefy on the inside. We need defensive tackles. We need Josh Allen to come back. I still believe we need another edge rusher because good teams have 3. We'll see if Kayvon Chasen can take a major jump. And then in the secondary, it's really hard to evaluate C.J. Henderson because he really didn't play a lot. And so you have C.J. Henderson, so we'll pencil him in at 1 corner. But who are the other corners? Because you need 2 additional ones to be able to play. So there's a lot of work. But the good thing is there's plenty of cap space. You have plenty of ammunition in the draft. I think you have to double down. And what I mean by double down is commit 1 in free agency, another 1 in draft to make sure that you commit multiple assets to try and solve the issue. And then you just got to figure out what you want to do on offense, because if Trevor's going to be the pick like we think it is, you want to make sure that he is protected. He has what he needs to be able to hit the ground running.
That is a long list of needs on defense, but we've known that for a long time. I mean, it's not like this is breaking news. We've seen this coming for a while.
I think, I think Bucky would probably agree. I mean, I get my information from guys like him, but this is supposed to be an offense-heavy draft, right? So let's go get 2 or 3 stud defensive players in free agency. The Jags can outbid just about anybody for some of these guys, and you attract them with the lure of maybe a new coaching staff and a hotshot quarterback coming in, no state income tax. Then, Bucky, let's just go get us Trevor Lawrence and load him up with some weapons and some protection, man. And then let's go 8-8, and then we're in the playoffs in 2022.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, Mike, I think if you want to do it right and you want to make sure that a quarterback hits the ground running, let's just look at what the Chargers were able to do with Justin Herbert. The reason he was able to have a lot of success, everyone would talk about his talent, but look at who he had around him. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They had Hunter Henry inside. Their offensive line is okay, but he had legitimate weapons on the outside. And even though I like the Jaguars' weapons, I would say you need a high-end tight end, someone that can control the middle of the field. You need to figure out what you want to do with Cam Robinson at tackle. Does he come back? Do you re-sign him? Are you confident in him being a pass protector if that's what Doug Marrone or the new coach will want to do? And then I still think, and I'm going to say this, and this is going to rub some people wrong because James Robinson has had a fantastic year. You got to evaluate what James Robinson really is, and do you need to bring in another running back to complement him to make sure that the running game is like a top-notch running game. And so we'll see. But I do think you need to load up on offense and then figure out if you can get your veterans on defense, because it's easier to get that side going if you have some veteran players that know how to play.
Yeah, I'm with you on the running back thing, because you can't have James Robinson carry this kind of load all the time, year after year after year.
You know, wasn't that kind of a choice? Like, I mean,
I think it was.
I mean, why couldn't they just have given 5 carries a game to Devon Azegbo or Dario Agumbawale? That seemed odd, because that even carried on in the last 2 weeks. Agumbawale got the same percentage of touches that James Robinson was doing, and I don't think that Jake Gruden has ever been that much of a one running back guy in his career. So it's just odd to me that he got that percentage of the carries. So
yeah, I mean, it is a really, really odd thing, and I think it's really hard to lean on one guy. Like, I think the team that we face today, the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, they have Marlon Mack, they have Jonathan Taylor, they have Naheem Hines. Marlon Mack goes out, they still have JT and Naheem Hines. I think if the running game is going to be a part of this, and I think it still needs to be a part of this, we can talk about how transcendent and generational Trevor Lawrence is. The running game makes life easy for all quarterbacks. So we got to make sure that we always have multiple guys so we can always run it. Even when the Jaguars were at their best, they had Fred Taylor and MJD. Like, they've always had multiple guys that could tote the rock. And I think that needs to be a priority to make sure that we have multiple guys that can handle it.
Plenty ahead, plenty of time for your calls. 355-NFL-1, 355-6351. We have made it to 2021. The Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And that means treating people better with friendly, personal service that's kept our members happy since 1952. A smile and personal greeting when you enter the branch. An online or phone chat for those quick questions. And a call center that's open every day. If you believe that great service is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Dr. Patrick Basil of Basil Plastic Surgery and Wellness. I'm a proud veteran of the U.S. Navy, and during my active duty time, I had the amazing privilege to serve our country and those who were wounded in combat. Helping my patients return to a normal life, I was able to provide an unparalleled level of care, which I've carried over to my own private practice today. As the official plastic surgeon of the Jaguars, I invite you to visit us at patrickbasilmd.com and would like to wish the Jags best of luck in today's game.
You won't find a better deal to keep your ride clean than Scrubble's Flexible Service Car Wash. Start in the tunnel wash and experience state-of-the-art equipment while enjoying a soapy light show. Our quality soaps and solutions keep your vehicle streak-free. Every 3-minute car wash package comes with self-serve vacuuming, lint-free towels, window cleaner, and a free air freshener. Visit us at the St. John's Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. And coming soon to Kernan and Atlantic. Trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive. Go Jags!
Jaguars fans, game day is back. And this year we've teamed up with Jameson to add another win to your week with official Jaguars and Jameson branded collectible stadium cups. They're only available for a limited time in the Jacksonville metro area. So grab yours today, pour a smooth Jameson, ginger and lime, and cheer on the Jags with Jameson. Taste responsibly. Jameson Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, product of Ireland, copyright 2020, imported by John Jameson Import Company, New York, New York.
In Florida, bicyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as everyone else on the road. So when you ride, follow the rules. Always wear a helmet and use lights on your bike. And drivers, watch for cyclists. Give them space to ride. And don't forget, when making that right on red, look to your right first to see if a cyclist is approaching in the bike lane. We all have a responsibility to keep ourselves and each other safe. Alert today, alive tomorrow. Because safety doesn't happen by accident. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash. Made fresh. Daly's.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard Show. After Week 17, a loss to the Colts, the Jaguars finished 1-15. J.P. Shadrick, Mike Dempsey in Jacksonville. Bucky Brooks with us in Los Angeles. The phone lines are open, 355-NFL-1, 355-6351. Plenty of time to get your calls in and plenty to discuss going into this offseason.
Oh, there's tons. Bucky Brooks here with us. Buck, for you, does it matter the order that they go about their business? Let's presume that there's a head coaching opening here, okay? We don't know that for 100% fact, but let's presume there is. How important is it to do one before the other? Is it are you hire the GM first and let him hire his guy, or are you okay in certain circumstances letting the coach dictate the front office?
You know, it really depends because it's all different now, Mike. Like it used to be, you would get the general manager, and the general manager would go and get his coach. But more owners are now going to the model where they want the guys in lockstep. So they hire the coach, and then they allow the coach to go and get his personnel man, so they can make sure that everyone is seeing it through the same eyes. I think it really depends on how much weight does the head coach have? Meaning, how much do you have to give him in terms of power and authority to bring him in? If it's a guy like it's been rumored about Urban Meyer, where Urban Meyer is going to want to bring his own guy to come in. If it's one of the hot assistants and coordinators, it may be a situation where you hire the general manager and then have the general manager go and do those things. I think for Shad Khan and those guys, they have to interview a bunch of different candidates. Then they have to get in a room and decide what is the best way for this franchise to go. And then once they make their determination, hire it however you need to hire it to get the people that you want on board.
All right, we've got phone lines open for you right now at 355-NFL-1, and Starling is checking in all the way from New York here on the Scoreboard Show. Starling, you're on with Bucky Brooks. Go ahead, please.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking my call. Quick question. Now that the season is over and looking forward to next season, once, we get all the draft picks, hopefully we get Trevor Lawrence. Should the Jaguars switch to a 3-4? Looking at the defense over the last couple of weeks, actually throughout the whole season, the run defense has been, pretty much it's been poor at times, so to speak. So I was thinking maybe move to a 3-4, Chase on, and Allen is your Russians, move Jack inside with Schobert.
Yeah.
And, probably draft some tackles, get maybe Williams from New York Giants in free agency and kind of shore up that defense.
Yeah, I was going to say, you better get some big bodies up front, Bucky, if you're going to start doing that, because that's where they really didn't have a lot of help this year.
Yeah, and I think really whether they're 4-3 or 3-4, it doesn't really matter because normally you're in some kind of nickel personnel on second and third down. And so a lot of it is really semantics. But I do believe he does bring up a point. If you want K'Lavon Chaisson and Josh Allen to be your ends, you have to kind of put them in a hybrid 4-3, 3-4 situation so they can kind of stand up. I don't think you want either one of those guys with their hand in the dirt 100% of the time because they're not necessarily built to play like that. And so a lot of it will be dependent upon the defensive coordinator. If it's a new defensive coordinator, what can they call? How much do they have in the vault when it comes to being able to look at the personnel and say, okay, here's the personnel that I have. The star players that we have are Josh Allen, we'll say Miles Jack, Schobert, K'Lavon Chaisson. Let's build it around those guys.
Yeah, I've talked with Jeff Lageman about this. This is a popular topic of conversation among Jaguar fans. Has been for a few years now. Yeah. And with this particular setup, he said a couple of issues he would have would be moving Miles Jack inside. You're going to limit some of his sideline-to-sideline playmaking. And also, Schobert then would kind of have to be a thumper-type linebacker in there.
Built like that.
And he's right. He's not really built to play inside in a 3-4 defense. So you got a lot invested in those two guys, and it might not be the best use of their abilities.
Yeah, no, and I think you can be creative because I think K'Lavon Chaisson is kind of the wild card, right? And without seeing him every day up close, I don't know what his athleticism is because the other thing that you could do is go and get another traditional heavy-handed defensive end. So now you have a heavy-handed defensive end. You have Josh Allen, who's more your quick end. You move K'Lavon Chaisson to maybe what we call like a Sam linebacker who can kind of be a tweener or whatever because you only need him to play that role on first down. When you go to nickel, hey, put your hand in the dirt, you can rush the pass and do those things. A lot of it really depends on how much stuff do you have in your playbook and how creative can you be when you assess the personnel that we know is going to be around in Jacksonville. Because really what you want to do is you want to build it around the players. It's one thing to say, hey, I have my scheme, but really it's about the players and the players that you have at your disposal.
I mean, think about it. I mean, you can really it's going to be a whole lot of brand new faces, especially on that side of the ball, so you can craft it to whatever the coaching staff really wants, Buck.
And you got to see what's available too, though, Buck. Right? I mean, outside of like Gregory Rousseau, there are not too many guys expected to even be anywhere near the value when the Jags pick that second time around. You might be better off finding that, as you described, that heavy-handed. Early down defensive end in free agency and maybe spend some of that draft capital on the interior of the defensive line.
Mike, I would tell you, this is not the year to necessarily go and look for pass rushers that you expect to make an immediate impact. That said, now what you could do, and I don't know if Jacksonville has done it. You could go back in the draft and get another corner. So Pat Surtain, the second would probably be on. But there are a number of what I would call players' kids that are at the top of the board. J.C. Horn is one.
I heard you talking about him.
Is not necessarily a first-round pick, but there are a number of corners that you go to pair up with C.J. Henderson. Then you have a young, dynamic tandem in C.J. Henderson and whoever that can grow together depending upon what kind of coverage scheme and stuff that you use.
Everybody needs to be just listening to the Move the Sticks podcast.
They'll
know all this. They'll already know all this, right?
You've known this for weeks.
I've known this. I heard you talking about J.C. Horn the other day, and I've seen him. Prior to that, he's been mocked to the Jags more than a few times with that second first-round pick. So we'll see. Let's get back to the lines. 355-6351. Leo in Mandarin is next up here on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Leo.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Happy New Year and all that good stuff to y'all. How you doing?
Likewise.
Great.
Excellent, man.
Hey, I'll be real brief. Listen, I'm not trying to be funny. This is scuttlebutt out in the street. I want to get y'all's thoughts because I'm starting to question it myself. But like I said, I'm hearing it not on the radio station. I've heard it out in the streets, and then there's actually a report. But are we about to botch this pick? One, they're saying that we may bring in Ohio State, Day, and Justin Fields, and then also I'm hearing Mac Jones, that, he's looking pretty good. And if he wins the Heisman, he could be like a Burrow.
You
and
need
come
better
in and
sources, man. You need better sources,
are you walking
Leo.
down?
What street is it Mac Jones being talked about the number 1 overall pick?
Hey, man, listen, I'm not joking, man. Get out here.
We're not either.
He's a hometown
We're
guy.
not
He's
either.
a hometown guy. He's a hometown guy.
Now, come on, Leo. He's a
sounds
hometown
like,
guy.
it sounds like your street.
Okay, listen.
You've been
Listen,
walking
you
down.
you guys are picking on me. You ought to hear what I was saying. The same thing. I'm like, are we about to mess this up? Listen, Ian Rappaport put out a report saying that Justin Day and he may bring in
Ryan Day.
Yeah,
Ryan. By the way, Ryan Day has said in the last 24 hours he has no interest in even interviewing for an NFL job. So
okay, all right, good. Well, I'm asking because I'm telling you that there's legs. I'm hearing stuff, so I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to question.
Yeah, anyone can
whether
say
or not,
anything on the internet. So I'm hearing stuff too. I hear all kinds of stuff all the time, crazy stuff on a variety of subjects. Not limited to
Walk
football.
down the wrong street, you can hear some wrong things.
I mean, come on. Mac Jones is not going number 1 overall in anybody's draft. He's not probably going in the top 3 quarterbacks in any scenario. Maybe not the top 4, but Bucky, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm. Like, if I get the conversation, if they do hire Urban Meyer, or if they were to pursue Ryan Day, there's going to naturally be the part about Justin Fields, that's more speculation. It's not they're not. I don't think anyone's saying, well, their plan is to get Ryan Day and pair him with Justin Fields. I think whose plan exactly.
Did you ask Ryan Day that?
I mean,
I don't know.
Shad Khan. Shad Khan's not making these decisions.
Right. There was that conversation, and Ryan Day quickly shot that down because it also came out that Pat Fitzgerald would maybe interview at some places, not necessarily Jacksonville, but maybe he would interview for some NFL jobs. The Urban Meyer conversation has come out, and the latest thing that I had heard was Urban Meyer and possibly Scott Pioli as the general manager to kind of do it. So Urban Meyer as the head coach football czar, Scott Pioli as the personnel picker. And connecting the dots, it would make sense because Urban Meyer has a friendship with Bill Belichick. Obviously, Scott Pioli was there in New England for a long time. If Urban doesn't know anybody that he necessarily trusts, he could lean on Bill Belichick, like, help me out, like, who could be the thing or whatever. But I think all of that is really speculation. We don't know how they're going to go and what they're going to do. I know we've seen a bunch of people that have been trotted in and out of the building. And so we'll see. I think the next couple of weeks will be fascinating. Obviously, for our own interest, we would like to see it kind of wrapped up sooner rather than later so we can begin to put the pieces of the puzzle together and kind of connect some dots and have some fun talking about what is about to happen. But until we can kind of get that, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's crazy because there's so many jobs that are out there, and there's going to be some surprise firings tomorrow.
Right. Black Monday.
I
around the
get
corner.
the speculation about Justin Fields. I do. He just was magnificent, and the Ohio State connection with Urban Meyer and Justin Fields, even though he didn't coach him there. But Mac Jones is not going number 1, okay? Just because he's from the area is not happening in any universe, okay? So Calm down
Hey
on
man,
what the streets are telling you.
You keep talking like that. JP's gonna reach over and he's gonna pelt you with like a little fedora.
Even he knows. Even after
I'm not even gonna have to do it. There'll be enough people in town that'll
If
do it.
anybody's gonna take Mac Jones, it's Miami with that third pick to replace that other bum from Alabama. Come on now. I'm kidding. Mac Jones not a bum, but seriously, Mac Jones is not gonna be the pick of the Jaguars in any universe.
He's not gonna be that. But I do believe there's some people that believe he could be the 5th quarterback in the mix, right?
Sure,
like borderline first round.
He could be a first-round pick, absolutely.
Late first round.
He could be in that conversation or whatever. And he and Kyle Trask, whatever, you've seen their names pop up in the like. It's kind of like Trevor Lawrence, then it's the next 3, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, in whatever order, and then it's Mac Jones and Kyle Trask. And I don't know if there's another one that kind of gets into that conversation, but that's kind of how you hear it when you talk to people. But yeah, Mac Jones will have a chance to be a fringe player. First pick, maybe in the 2nd round, not number 1 overall.
I'm going to tweet out that Mac Jones is not coming to Jacksonville, so now Leo and his friends can go, the streets are telling me that we're not getting Mac Jones at number 1. All right?
Sources. Sources say that Mac Jones and Kyle Trask have concrete feet, but that's a different source. I don't know. We're back in a moment. Plenty of your calls ahead. 2 more segments to go. 355-NFL-1, 355-6351. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
You're working from home. So how do you connect with coworkers and clients? With RingCentral, the #1 global communication solution for business. RingCentral makes talking, texting, collaborating, and video calls easy. And it's all on one platform. And when we say everyone should be connected, we mean it. It's why we're giving RingCentral free to educators, health providers, and nonprofits. Learn more at ringcentral.com. Welcome to the new RingCentral.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Everyone's so busy keeping up. Forget about the Joneses. We all on our telephones with the texts and the tweets and the beats. What he said, she said, can't even follow the thread. Down the hole, we all go. Me, I like keeping up too, with my Corona and my attitude. That's La Vida Más Fina.
Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Dreamfinders Homes has a simple commitment to their home buyers. Deliver unsurpassed quality, uncompromising value, and an extraordinary level of customization you simply won't find with other home builders. With over 40 communities to choose from, you'll find a location you love and the home of your dreams. Dreamfinders has townhomes, single-family homes, and custom estate homes starting from the high 100s and a wide selection of move-in ready homes. Quality, value, customization. That's the Dreamfinders difference. Call 904-738-0165 or online at dreamfindershomes.com. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Prices subject to change without notice. Equal housing opportunity.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
355 NFL1, the number 355-6351. Couple segments to go in the 2020 campaign, sources say, on the Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey.
I think your sources are good
Bucky
on
Brooks.
that one.
I think so.
It's all about vetting your sources.
You know, people on the street are saying there's 2 segments left to go.
And those people would be correct.
They are correct. So there's plenty to talk about, obviously. And I think I'm with you, Bucky. Like, we just get something rolling, get something definitive in the next few days, and then we can have a direction here.
Yeah, because JP, like, without knowing who the head coach is going to be and who the picker, the team builder is going to be, it's hard to speculate how this team could look. Because normally if it's someone that you know or that you've seen build a team before, you can begin to kind of glean some insights on, okay, this is what they believe in, this is their philosophy, this is how they could take what he currently has available in Jacksonville, and this is how they could do it. But right now, we're just kind of sitting and waiting and wondering what's going to happen and when is the other shoe going to drop in terms of who is going to be the ultimate team builder for this franchise.
Bucky, how do you feel about, again, without the position being vacant at the moment, but presuming that Doug Marrone does not get brought back, how do you feel about the next coach? Is it necessary for you for him to have head coaching experience? Are you okay with an up-and-coming coordinator? I mean, how wide a net do you want to cast here?
You know, I think you have to cast a wide net. And, you know, like, Mike, it's so tough because, like, without knowing how they're going to go, because if you're going to go with the young head coach or the inexperienced head coach, I would hope that he had an experienced general manager, like someone that's kind of been there before, can kind of lay it. What I would hate to see is 2 newbies trying to figure it out on the job while you have Trevor Lawrence clock ticking, you know, because you don't want to burn up those early years in his rookie deal while everyone is trying to figure out, hey, this is what we like, this is what we don't like. I would like to have someone who has a plan in place. And so, you know, like, and talking to people around, there's been a lot of conversation about, like, and this is not going to excite Jaguars people, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Say it.
Like, there's been a lot of conversation about, like, the Marvin Lewises of the world, the Jim Caldwells of the world, guys who have been head coaches before that have done and dealt with maybe, like, tough situations that have plans. There's also been talk about, like, the younger guys, like a Brian Daboll or somebody else coming in. I just don't know, because you don't know who ultimately is going to have the hammer when it comes down to the power to really build the team.
Right. You just don't know how it's going to be set up.
Interesting. It's like Carolina went with Matt Rule, right? And he, I think, got that team playing very well this year under difficult circumstances, basically played almost the entire season without Christian McCaffrey, who's the biggest weapon that they have. And so they seem to be trending in the right direction. He went with a young offensive coordinator in Joe Brady, and they had a lot of success. And now they're going to give Rule basically the chance to handpick the GM here going into his second year. And so it's not to say that can't work, right? I mean, here's a guy he's got some NFL ties, but his head coaching experience was at the collegiate level. So there are a lot of formulas that can work. And look, Jim Caldwell might be an excellent selection. You know, honestly, if we're going big game hunting on former coaches, I'm making Tony Dungy say no. I am. I mean, what's the harm in making the call? I don't know.
Well, because I think right now, and you guys are right there on the daily. I'm not. Like, I think what you need is, when we talk about a program builder, like someone who can give the entire organization like a clear vision for how we're going to go forward. Like, this is what we think about. This is our culture. This is how the kind of style of ball that we're going to play. These are the kind of players that we want. I don't want to say it's one voice, but you have that synergy from top to bottom. In theory, that is what Coach Coughlin was supposed to do when he came on board. He was supposed to kind of bring that, but it always seemed like he may have wanted to coach the team as opposed to kind of being comfortable in his role, but something like that. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think the person has to be more than just a play caller, because the head coach is more than just a guy who is an X and O's guy. He really has to be a communicator and a team builder, so all aspects of the team and the program works together.
All right, let's take our final timeout. We'll come back. One more segment ahead of the 2020 campaign. Then it's on to the 2021 offseason. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Why do you choose Farah and Farah? First, we have the financial resources to take on any insurance company. And our track record proves that we know how to win. Our attorneys and staff are a team, and we've worked together for decades. To us, our job is much more than just a paycheck. We love to help. And this is important. We never forget. It's not about us. It's all about you. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
Jaguars fans, whether it's on the field or in your finances, the key to success is a solid plan. From high-yield banking to home lending, into retirement and beyond, TIAA Bank offers solutions that can help you achieve your goals and make the most of your money. It's time for a plan. Start building your legacy today at TIAABank.com/Jaguars. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, equal housing lender, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports watching drink of all time, Pepsi. With refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day, Pepsi has everything you need to start strong.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet, but thanks to Pepsi, even Mike can't ruin my football party.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back. Final moments of the Scoreboard Show for the 2020 season. We haven't even mentioned the division. The Titans win on a doink field goal at the end. They win the division. The Colts are in. They beat the Jags. They get a wild card spot. And we were talking about this earlier, Mike, and I looked it up because you brought it up. You're like, I don't think there have been many 250-yard rushing games all time in league history. And I'm like, well, I looked it up. There's only been 13 all time before today. There were 2 today in the league. And there hasn't been more than 1 in a single season ever in the NFL, and there were 2 today.
Yeah, Derrick Henry right on the nose, and then Jonathan Taylor.
They were both in the AFC South.
Isn't that great?
Wow.
How about that?
So that tells you, though, like in thinking about our team, like it's really important as we think about the team and how we're going to build it, we have to build it to handle those teams.
You're
and
right.
so as much as we're fascinated by throwing the ball all over the yard, you're seeing that the teams in our division, they can pound it when they need to pound it. Jonathan Taylor has given the Colts a presence. They want to run the ball when they have to run it. And then Derrick Henry, you have to be able to deal with the king. And so as we think about building our team, before we can think about the bigger picture of the AFC, we have to be able to win our division. And so the way the team is constructed has to be able to handle the Titans, the Colts, and Deshaun Watson and whoever they bring over as the Houston Texans head coach.
Yeah, as I saw Sarah Barshop of ESPN tweet out after the game, the Texans now have earned the 67th pick in the NFL draft because they have traded away their first and second round picks. So that whatever they're going to do to bolster their team, it's going to have to wait a little while.
Yes.
At least we got that going for us.
Yeah,
other teams' misfortunes are hilarious.
Seriously, Bucky. I mean, in all seriousness, I know it's not a Jaguar concern, but How hard a look does Miami need to look at this quarterback class coming in with the third overall pick here, and the way Fields put himself right back, into prominence, and Zach Wilson there? It's not like Tua exactly lit things up, and we know, man, teams now will move on quicker than ever at that position.
I mean, I think it's a unique opportunity for them because I say this is almost like an extra lottery ticket for them, right? I mean, technically they didn't get into the playoffs, but they could have been a playoff team, and you get the third overall pick. You have to look at Tua and have to have an honest assessment of who he is and where he's at. And then if you're looking at Tua in comparison to Fields, Lance, and Wilson, and if he's not substantially better, and the players that are also on the board aren't up there like that, because there'll be conversation about Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith, whatever. Are they worthy of being the third overall? Or do you get more bang for your buck by taking another quarterback? This really hasn't been done in our league since 1989 when the Cowboys took Troy Aikman and then came back and took Steve Walsh with the number one pick. You've never seen teams go back-to-back top 5 quarterbacks. So you do this, and then you make them have a competition. And then the guy that doesn't win it, you can move on, because from a money standpoint, it's not that expensive because they're still on their rookie deal. So you could technically do that and get value for whoever is the guy that is the loser. It'd be depressed value, but you still can come back and get some money and some draft capital for Tua or the other quarterback if they're not up to snuff.
Yeah, people forget about that Steve Walsh pick because it was in the supplemental draft that they did after they took Aikman. And, of course, then the Cardinals moved off of Josh Rosen after, taking him, I think, 10th overall and took Kyler Murray the next year.
Yeah, they moved on and got Kyler Murray. I don't think you can be afraid, Mike. I think, and we've seen it, because some would say, when Blake Bortles was re-signed to the deal, they had an opportunity to maybe go and get another quarterback, and they stuck with the thing.
Some would say, all would say. Yes. Everybody says that, yes.
Yeah, so I think you have to be honest. You have to be able to honestly look at the player and see where he's at, and is he one that you can imagine? We'll call it the confetti test. Can you imagine that guy having confetti fall on his shoulders from winning the Super Bowl?
A good one.
And if you can't, then you need to go get another one. That should be the standard when you're looking at the quarterback. Can I see the confetti fall on his shoulders because of the way that he plays for our team?
Wow, the confetti test.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, it could be the Justin Herbert test,
I can't
too.
say that's all mine.
Should we have taken that guy this year instead of this other fella?
Right. Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson test.
No, Mitchell Trubisky. It'll work out fine. Don't worry.
Ooh, and he's a Tar Heel, and I was even like, whoa. They must have something I don't know.
Being aggressive here after one season, Chapel Hill. All right, that'll do it for our program. Bucky, appreciate you all season. It's been fun hooking up with you here on Postgame and on Happy Hour. I'm sure we'll be with you a good bit in the off season as well.
Happy New Year, man.
And Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. So after the playoff games, we don't get to get on and talk about the scoreboard. There's no more scoreboard.
Like we told Fred, we can come back here next Sunday and just do
Let me ask you, Bucky, what time do you usually get up on the West Coast in the morning? Seriously, serious question. What's your typical time to rise?
5:30.
Oh, piece of cake, man. We're on. What would that translate to? 7 to 9 West Coast time, Monday through Friday. I'll be hitting you up. Trust me. Trust me.
Yeah, just let me know. I'm always down.
All right. And I'm sure we will see a lot of you on Jaguars.com as well, Bucky. And appreciate it. Have a good one. We'll talk to you.
Thanks, Buck.
For sure, man.
Bucky Brooks out of here, NFL Network analyst. Mike Dempsey, it's been a pleasure again, my friend.
Likewise, man. I had a good season, JP. Enjoy working with you. You're, I mean this in all seriousness, a super professional broadcaster, and you make things very easy here, even in a 1-15 season. And I'm not saying that just because you're looking at me right now, but it's the truth.
Well, I appreciate you, man. You come in and bring the heat. And you do it every week after week, and say what you feel, and you feel what you say, and that's what it is. It's never fake. I'll say that. It's Mike Dempsey in the flesh.
You get
man.
me in the commercial breaks the same as you get me on the air.
That's exactly Mike Dempsey, and we love you for it. So thank you very much.
All right, brother.
Mike Dempsey out of here. Our thanks to Tony Smith, Scott Kushner, Brent Reber, Trent Padilla, our entire crew. Joe Fortunato back home today with Linda. Hope everybody's well. And thanks to you for listening and for watching all season long. That'll do it for the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.